At 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, we got UTEP. The UTEP Miners, which started, this is an interesting game. They started out 2-0. They're traveling to Boise State, which started the season 0-1 on FS1, by the way. Normally this is a game that where you like 2-0 team against an 0-1 team. You normally go with the 2-0 team. But this is a weird one because UTEP is not a team that is normally very good at all, right? This is a team that's normally at the bottom of Conference USA. But UTEP started out with a very impressive 33 win over New Mexico State, but to be fair, New Mexico State sucks, and that's why we don't know much about this team. How good are they? They destroyed New Mexico State and had a 10-point win against Bethune-Cookman. But how good is UTEP? Seriously, I honestly don't know. Now, Galvin Hardison for UTEP over the past two games have gone 25 of 39 through 432 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. I mean, that means he's averaging over 200 yards a game, and that's very solid, productive play by your quarterback. That's a good quarterback. You're averaging 2 touchdowns a game, so that's just solid play by your QB if you're UTEP. But you're just going against Boise State. Boise State has been the cream of the crop for Group of 5. This is what Group of 5 teams strive to be so many years, year in, year out. They are an extremely solid, productive Broncos team. They've lost many coaches. I think 3, as I can count now, to Power 5 head coaching jobs, and they still keep reloading on offense, and they're very, very good. Now, they did start 0-1, but that loss was to UCF. The UCF Knights, they ended up covering in that final spread count. But I mean, like, this is Boise State. The Boise State Broncos we're talking about, which is why they're favored by 26 points in this game. They had a 31-36 loss to UCF, right? Everyone remembers that. It was a very good game, but I don't know if anyone stayed up to watch it because it was delayed for like 2 hours or something like that thanks to a rainstorm. But I recorded it, and I had to record a whole bunch of shows after it. I was watching the Minnesota-Ohio State game during this time, but then I ended up recording it and watching this game afterwards. Boise State took an early lead and definitely looked like they might win this game, and I might be out $50 because I did bet my uncle $50 on that game. But Hank Bachmeier ended up making a pivotal mistake down the stretch. Hank Bachmeier ended up with 25 to 39, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. That 1 pick, though, turned out to be a game crusher for Hank Bachmeier and the Broncos. Andrew Van Buren did not have the best day. The run game was not very good on the ground. They only ended up having 10 carries for 26 yards, averaged 2.6 yards per carry. Now, he did end up getting a touchdown, but I do feel like that's just, like, it's not a good enough day. If you're the Bronco, if you're Boise State and you're trying to beat UCF, you need to have a better day on the ground than that. Now, the receiver, Khalil Shakir, ended up having 5 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. He led the team in receptions and yards. Honestly, I really like Hank Bachmeier. I feel like I said that last year when I did a Boise State game. I'm going to say it this year. I think Bachmeier's a good quarterback. I think similar about him as I do Dylan Gabriel, except for obviously I think higher of Dylan Gabriel. I think Hank Bachmeier is a guy. My Power 5, like if you haven't been watching Boise State, I have. My Power 5 correlation to him is if you watch Tanner Morgan play from Minnesota. Tanner Morgan's a guy that he's not going to lose you a game, and he actually might keep you in games, but he's not going to single-handedly win the game with his arm. That's just not something that is in his skill range, and it's not something that's in with Hank Bachmeier's skill range. He is a game manager, and that's fine if you have a team like Boise State, or actually, for the Golden Gophers case, Minnesota. You have a fine team if you just need a game manager. Boise State is a team that is very solid. I actually really like this year. I think they're the best team in the Mountain West. Unfortunately, they've lost their chance of making the playoffs, starting out 0-1. I expect them to end UTEP's faint playoff hopes. Technically speaking, what I do for all of my college football games, and you'll notice this, is I do teams that are still playoff eligible. For me, if you lose a game and you're a Group of 5 team, I think you're out of the playoff conversation. But if you stay undefeated, I think you're technically still in the playoff conversation, which is why I think why I'm predicting this game. UTEP's technically still in the playoff conversation, although I think Boise State will end it tonight. Give me Boise State to win and cover. Now, this was a boring one, guys, but I do think all the favorite teams are going to win. Stick to tomorrow if you want to see some upsets. But, everybody, this is GGB Ghost Peppers saying, actually, no Ghost Peppers this time, saying adios, amigos.